So now, Bob Farquhar, build along of a Blair line kit. Bob, thank you so very much for doing this. I really thank you, because if you weren't spending the time and effort to do it, we'd never get it done.
Right. Now, last week and the week before, I was talking about alcohol and ink messes in a little cup. I didn't do any relationship of the size of the cup. There's a cup. In case that's what the length there depth you want for your alcohol. So now for the share screen. Okay. And so this is going to be doing the signs, windows, and doors in this session, mostly because it's a lot easier to do all these things on the flat, when the walls are flat on your workbench, rather than doing these signs and windows and so on when the building's assembled. So now Clark Gooning did a really nice session on signs and that before, so I'm just going to review some things. This is the sign that comes with the kit, and the first thing to do is photocopy these signs. This is fairly thick paper, and so that means you can use it as a tin sign or a sign on wood type of thing. The wet decal is extremely thin. I'll be talking about that shortly. Now these I'm in Canada, so a lot of this particular Moxie and this type of sign, we don't have them in Canada. This stuff here, we don't. NMN filters don't have them either. So I may have to get some signs from elsewhere. I got some from the yellow pages of the phone book, for an example, and some other kits that I had too. So you can cut these out here. This, for example, this one here, the idea is any of these, you cut them out and glue them back to back, so you can hang them from the posts for the porch, if you like. So now we're cutting out the signs. These two here have a little yellow or white edging on them, and then of course a little bit more of the sign coming on the other side. So cut them, you make sure you cut nice and clean. And so there's an example of this, using as an example here. When you do cut the sign out, the white be left on the edge here. And as Clark mentioned before, you want to darken that edge. You could use a marker like this, a felt tip marker, to blacken this section, like all the way along. There's an example of doing it from the back, because if you do it from the front, if you slip like this, I did that as an example, or you do heavy on one side, it ruins the sign. Now, this is a collection of my wife's felt pins. She likes them. This is a quarter of what she has. The idea is you got different colors of different signs. For example, if you want to do this type of sign here, you want to maybe use a blue one to mark the edges, darken up the edges. This one here for general store, you can use it in black, or you can do it on brown for make it look like it's wood on the edge. It's surprisingly noticeable in the photograph. You could see these type of things. Here's another idea. If you want to age the edge of a sign, we get these little sponges from the dollar store. You get all kinds of them. They're good for doing pen pastels, chalks, and things like that. And but you do the stress ink. You get these from Michael's. You get all kinds of different inks. Like there's a chestnut type, and this is an example. If you just dump it into this ink, and then you push it on the middle across here, and then you get the coloring on both sides. You get on the front side and the back side, and that's the effect you would get if you want to do that, an age effect. Now for the wet decals, maybe you guys already done them. There's a backing on these things. There's what the backing looks like when it comes off, and this is going on this type of wall pieces in this store. And the rib seam roofing, or sorry, the ribs on here will really show up not nicely. It'll show up if you do it just on the decal straight on there. So I got a thin piece of wood here, and very, very thin. And I dunk it in the water for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then you could just peel it off on there. When you dab it with a tissue or a paper towel lightly, And when it's dry, then you can cut the board out. The reason why I did that way was two reasons. One of them is that makes the sign sit properly on the wall, on this type of ribbed wall. And not only that, that now becomes a brace. You don't have to do an internal brace on that wall either. So that's a double effect. So these are the signs that I picked here. This is one from the United States Post Office. I cut the United States part of it off because we won't have that in Canada. But and there's the signs from the that one looks like a porcelain sign because the sun is shining here and also a shadow down in through here. And I got some other ones from other kits, and some of these are from the Yellow Pages and stuff. And there's some dry transfers in here as well. Now, the signs are never pristine all the time. They generally get some weathering on there. So I just a bit of white chalk and just dropped them up a little bit just to get that faded bit. So for the windows and doors, oh yeah, for the windows and doors. So this is the template comes with the instructions. For example, D5, D6, and D7 is for the shed door. And this is the back of the door. This is the front of the door, and the peel-in stick, you peel off this backing on there and stick it on here. Now, never had a problem with them coming off. They always stick together well, those ones here. But I've never trusted the peel and stick with the frame, the door frame or the window frames. So what I do is I want to put the back off, and then I'll put some glue on there as well, just to be on the safe side. Now, this is an example. This looks really rough along this edge. That's the backing that, and also I didn't have a brand new X-Acto knife, so it came out a little bit here. You can see it's kind of rough, but that's the backing paper that's doing that. And you've got the glass that comes with the kit. This is for the shed door, goes through here, and there's the shed window, and then pull draw for shades. And the front windows on either side of them, you can do mix and match them, whatever you like. The pieces are missing in here, or the gaps in here, are for the window mullions coming through there. And there's for the two front doors. Now, excuse this sign here is not crooked as you look in there, and these things are there. Turns out I got a smudge on my lens. I didn't notice it, and it looks it's wee wop. But anyway. These are not glued in place. It's sitting on there first, the windows and the doors, and make sure it's going to sit okay. This one is almost at the bottom, not quite, and this one here is a big for the bottom. So you have to make sure that comes right down. And when I went to put it together, I noticed that the door itself was down too far, and I had to take a little bit of the bottom off the bottom here. And then when I put this window frame in, you do that one first, and then you can put the rest of the window in there. And I had mine open up a bit. So now I didn't use the plastic that came with the kit. I didn't want the shade looking with a pull down on the shades on the door or there. So I just used some glass in there. Now, and sorry, that lamp I added, that's just a pin from a shirt pin. When you buy a new shirt, you got the pins on there. And some of them are silver color, and I just bend that around and then paint it. That becomes the shade. And now it's been on your property in the center, just sitting there for the time being. And here, this comes with a kit. These grayish panels in here for the front doors. I didn't like that. I wanted to do some real screen, so I use a screen from David's T. And this sitting in here right now, so it's not sitting there properly, but I just did it as a test, and then I finally put it together over here. And there's what the front of it is looking like now. When there is the offset on the tabs for going into the concrete base, or the simulated concrete base, and these are the slots here for the roof. Sorry, the porch roof. And I'm going to talk about that for just a minute here for future. There's two ways of doing this. This is the support piece for the roof. There are four of them. This goes into the wall of the building, and this is for this piece here. This is the slots for the roof go into this tab in here. Now, I'm going to go back to the other picture. When time comes, you're going to have the posts. There are going to be 4 posts out here in front of the building, and you're going to put these pieces in here, as well as you're trying to put them into these slots as well. So there's two suggestions you can do here. You can put them onto the piece of the porch roof backing there, and actually then put it in to these slots in here. The only problem is you don't know at this point how high those posts are. So, and I'm going to be talking about that next week in the assembly. There's two different ways of doing it, but that's one way of doing it. The other way is put these in individually and then try and attach that to it next week. So that's it for today. Any questions? Good.
You're doing a great job. You're covering so much, people don't have questions for you. But I appreciate it. I can't thank you enough for doing this,
Certainly.
Bob.
Certainly.
And the feedback that I'm not getting questions. I'm just getting favorable comments about it. So I think whatever you're doing is working. So keep it up.